So there's two different levels in which I can speak on. And I'm happy to speak with you either about your person and the personal habits that you have and reconditioning the person, or I can speak about non-duality. And I'm happy to do both. Maybe I clarify a little bit about what the two different ones are. Yeah, we forgot about movement when we were. This is a live stream that we're doing. So, right now, who is looking out of your eyes? When you first get into this subject, there is a belief and an energetic contraction making it feel like somebody is looking out of your eyes, and that somebody is your past actions, or you believe that somebody is your past actions, what you've done, what you've been, what you're going to be, your looks, your ideas, your family, your social status, your economic background, your popularity, all of that you take yourself to be, and your body. And you always believe who you are is something that's not here. So something that's either in the past or the future. So if you imagine yourself in the past, like you imagine that you did something really good and helped lots of people, or that you come from a family that's very poor, all of that is something that you're imagining in the past.
or something in the future. You're going to be something, you're going to do something, you're going to attain something. So all of it is an imagination which is arising in the past or the future. If you try to imagine yourself right here, the best that you could do maybe is like imagine yourself from the outside, maybe that you're sitting on a cushion or you're sitting in this room. But that's still an imagination in the past, and it's still an imagination because you won't get the way you look. You might imagine yourself as like 10 times fatter than you are, or 10 times thinner than you are, or 10 times more handsome or more ugly, or like better than the others sitting around you. It's unknown. So you imagine yourself to be all these things, and it's never quite here. Even your imagination of yourself being here is never quite here, and it's not really accurate. The only thing that you have that's always here and always your experience is experiencing itself. And that's the only thing that's always in the experience, is experiencing. So you can run around the mountain, you can go to Japan, to Europe, to America, to India, you can wear the Indian clothes, the white clothes. I take these off, they're tingling a lot. The white clothes. you can wear the hippie clothes, the biker clothes, the tarty clothes. You can do all these things, and still it's going to be experiencing. That's the one thing that's always here. No matter what you are, you can be a good person, a bad person, there is always experiencing. You can be in jail, you can be super rich, you can lose everything, get everything, have the best lover, the worst lover, but guess what? There's always experiencing. Experiencing never leaves. Everything you think about yourself leaves, even your body leaves, and every moment your body is transforming and changing. But experiencing is always here. And experiencing is this most magical and wondrous thing, because we don't know why experiencing is happening. We don't know what that is. We can't contain it. We can't be like, we're just going to sell a little bit of experiencing. Let's put it in a little box, wrap it up, put a bow on there. Here, have some experiencing. We can't, we don't know what it is. Like everything else, we can name it, grab it, put it in something, draw it, capture it, pay for it. Experiencing, it's here no matter what. And you put no effort into experiencing. You don't wake up and be like, oh, hang on, just let me turn on experiencing. That's not what happens. Experiencing is automatic. It's the birthright of everything. It's really wondrous. It's made of wonder, experiencing. Everything else is, this and that, good and bad, right and wrong, happy, sad, boring, exciting. But experiencing is totally we don't know why, how, or what experiencing is, but yet it follows us around like our shadow. It's always here, no matter where you run to. Even if you kill yourself, they'll still be experiencing. Another body will pop up bing! They'll be experiencing again. You'll be like, I've done it. I've got myself out of this one. Bing! Oh, and I went down in the social order. Oh, great. I'm now a dung beetle. But the dung beetle's quite happy. Actually, this is actually an improvement. There's always dung, no matter what. I don't have to pay for dung. It's always free. My dog would be very happy if she was a dung beetle. She'd be dipping her neck in it, a bit of perfume, then. I puff myself out. I'm not used to the heat. Whew. So experiencing is always here, no matter what. You can't buy it, you can't get more of it, you can't come here to Tiru and do your pujas and you walk around without your shoes in circles and be like, I got more experiencing, boo, 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 boo. You can't. You can't buy it, you can't trade it, you can't be better than anyone else with experiencing, because everybody has experiencing. We're all like, whoa! We wake up and it's our birthright, and there is nobody better that has experiencing, nobody. Everybody's the same. It's equality. It's total equality. It's beyond the female and masculine equality. It's like everybody gets it no matter what. And no one has more conscious experiencing. The person can be more conscious. So the person can be more conscious about themselves, be more aware of themselves, but they can't be like there can't be somebody that's got more experiencing than someone else. Look to your experience. Don't be fooled by any of these gurus, including myself, although I must say that I am the one that is the most reliable. With my makeup on and my jewellery on, I'm like, boop, boop. I'm the most reliable. I just do my talk and my introduction first, and then once I've annoyed the hell out of you.
You just open the doors and now there's nobody
Oh
coming
yeah,
anymore.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. It does get hot.
What about the AC? Don't
Yes, please, can you put the AC turn it on?
You just turn on the switch.
Yeah, we had a
Just turn on the switch.
Just make a
Big
really
one.
small
That one. Yeah.
we had a debate about whether to put it on or not.
Just reduce the fan. Is it coming? Yes.
Might take a while for the inverter to.
The other one is working. No, that was he had on the phone. This worker had something on phone, so might be he told the phone.
Yeah, I have got a little bit hot myself. I might be breaking out in a sweat soon. And I've got no hankies to be like. Oh, you got a fan? No, I'm all right, thanks.
Lisa?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You want the fan? You want the fan?
No, I'm all right for that.
Hello?
So, so you can't get any more experiencing. You can't have hierarchy in experiencing. You can have a more conscious person, a more balanced person, a more like aware of themselves, a more integrated person, and a person that's had this awakening and it's more expanded in their personality structure. You can have hierarchy on that level, but on the level of non-duality, you cannot have more experiencing. Nobody can have more experiencing. Nobody has it more. No teacher, nobody. Everybody has it, full access. And experiencing has nothing to do with energy levels or love or a feeling. It's beyond that. Like a feeling comes and goes, love comes and goes. Experiencing is, I mean, what is it? What can you define it as? It's like it's totally empty, as in it's not a thing. Like experiencing isn't a thing. Like we name the chair a thing, we name my trousers a thing, we name the floor a thing, but experiencing isn't a thing. Experiencing is, you can't contain it, you can't capture it. And where experiencing arises from is unknown. It's a mystery. It happens, but it's a total mystery. There's no substance to it. You can't even really call it consciousness, but yet consciousness is what's happening. Like experiencing comes with consciousness. If there was no consciousness, then there would be nothing at all. So there is consciousness in there, but it's not even something's conscious of anything. There is simply experiencing. The trees are arising, the room is arising, the people are arising, and it's a happening. And there's not really a consciousness that's in here aware of people out there. There is consciousness that arises in all things. Like it's not that there is there's no separation in experiencing. And go to your own experience. Is there a separation in experiencing? Like that's your essence, that's what's always here. It doesn't stop here. You're not like, okay, experiencing stops here and this world that this experiencing meets. Experiencing stops. There is no stop to experiencing. Wherever you go, wherever you are, experiencing is everything. Conscious, you can call it consciousness, you can call it aliveness, you can call it presence, I don't care what you call it. This life force, this life doesn't have a divide in it. What does have a divide in it is our human brain. And our human brain is amazing. I love the human brain. I love the fact that I can think about things, and unlike my dog, I don't have to spend like 2 hours trying to get a ball from under a table like it's got stuck and she's just like repeating. I can actually think about it and be like, I just moved the table, or I pull it up and then I can grab it. I love being able to think. The brain is an amazing thing. Yeah. Oh, they come in and they do it. So the human brain divides. This is where the title of non-duality comes from. So non-duality is not two, so that's the experiencing. So that's the not two part, and that's the total freedom, that realization, and that's not a human realization. Your brain can't realize it because your brain is dual. Your brain thinks in this and that. So experiencing is prior to the brain being able to think. So the brain doesn't get this. The brain is always in duality. The brain is always in my foot, your floor, or my body, your body. This is good, this is bad. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way we communicate. And it's the way we've evolved to communicate. But we believe who we are is found in that communication, that we're somebody. I am this body. I am Lisa. I am my name. You are your name. You are your body. And that's not true. That's something that's coming and going. That person that you think yourself to be is not alive. It never existed. It's not somebody. What's alive is experiencing. What's alive is who you always are, is what's always here, which is no thing appearing as everything. And no matter what you think about, no matter how enlightened you think you are, or how many awakening experiences, or how much better or worse that you think you are than somebody, that's got nothing to do with non-duality. Non-duality cannot be thought about. You cannot get it in thoughts. You cannot understand it. You cannot buy it, although it is on sale here, but nowhere else you can buy it. You can't package it. It's nothing in the human world. In the human world, though, we can think in opposites and we can communicate in opposites, but that's not it. And the human can improve. It can be a nicer person from this subject. It can also be a not so nice person. It can integrate this message so it becomes more relaxed, more happy, more balanced, more open, more understanding, more empathetic. Although I'm not sure about the empathetic one. I think if you don't have the chemicals there in the first place, this realization or not, then you're not going to get empathy. Might do. It can do all these things, but that's not it. This is beyond that. It's beyond every thing that you can think about, that you can feel, that you can understand. It's even not love, although you could say it is love, but it's not the love that you imagine or feel. It's love is an experience that comes and goes. It's a love that's so empty it is so full. It's a love that's beyond the human love. And when this awakening happens, the human normally experiences lots of bliss and lots of love, but that's not it. That's an effect that happens in the human. The love, and it's the love that you seek. It's total home. It's rest. So you know how you always feel agitated, or there's always a feeling like maybe you're here and you're feeling like, no, this is the perfect place to be, but often there's like a feeling like, I've got to go somewhere, I've got to do something. This is total home. This is everything you ever look for, but not for the human. It's total rest. So right now, just on the human level, so on the thinking level, acknowledge what's happening. Is your body agitated? Is your body wanting to go somewhere? And note that that acknowledgement that I'm informing you to do, that I'm telling you to do, is not a separate entity. That action doesn't actually belong to you. That action is as free as the wind blowing the clouds, as the bird flying through the sky. It's got nothing to do with you, but it feels like you. It's not a prescription, it's a description. So on the human level, just acknowledge what's happening. If the body wants to run or stay or is happy or sad. And see that there is experiencing of all of that. And what the person is saying is that it wants perfection in the human world. So it wants to feel better, feel more energized, feel more happy. It wants to be improved or something to be improved. So if anybody has any questions, I prefer it if you come and sit here so I can see you and hear you properly. You won't be seen on the camera. You might be heard. It's unknown if you will be heard, whether the microphone will pick you up or not. I certainly will be heard. This won't be every day. I just do this today and on Wednesday. Yeah. Hi.
Okay, what would be a good question to ask?
Good question. I think the solution to a lot of what happens in the human world is, this is from my character's experience and my personal experience of working with people, is that just sitting through it. Like just giving yourself every day time to just sit by yourself and not do anything, not even meditate. There's always exceptions. There's some people that's very bad advice for, but the majority, I would say, that's really good advice. Even though on the ultimate level, there's no you that can do anything. Like you is a happening. It's not like you don't control you. You don't like every morning be like, but behind the scenes be like, I'm going to do this amount and that amount. I'm going to think this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to feel that. It's something that just happens. So sitting there is something that happens. But I can give out that information and it might create a sitting. So it's like you have feelings coming up and you have ideas and illusions coming up and just staying with it rather than acting it out all the time. So you have this feeling, this impulse that you have to make money, or an impulse that you have to go and speak with your partner about something and tell them how it's their fault. You have that impulse and then just stay for an hour, like not acting it out, but not even doing anything to try to get rid of it. They used to call it in Buddhism, I thought it was a very profound title, just sitting. That was their title in my Buddhist group. I used to sit and study with just sitting. And everyone would be like, but hang on, how do we just do that? Do we do something in the mind? No, you just sit. So we don't do anything, no, just sit. That's it. And I think this is a very profound thing to do. Like no effort, so you don't put any like attention on the I am or ask questions. You just sit there, and if your mind thinks for the whole hour or however long you sit about if an Apple phone is better than a Samsung phone, if it thinks about that for the whole hour, that's just as profound as anything else. Just let it do its thing, because who is meditating or who is sitting there? It's not about the person. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, guys, but I prefer if you don't enter after the talk begins. Thanks. We need a bigger sign. Sign's fault. They're all like going downstairs. She's not fucking enlightened. She doesn't let people in. She can't handle that. People walking in her talk. Arrogance of it. I'll never see them again. You've always got to be very careful saying no to people. People do not like no.
You don't like yes either sometimes.
Sorry?
Sometimes we don't even like yes.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yes and no is a very political situation.
Lisa, is the question time still on?
Yes, the question time is still on.
Because somebody was talking there, he came and I lost the track. So can I ask questions?
Yeah.
I have to come there?
Oh, yes, you can come here, Elango. This is the first time in 2 years that Alango's been allowed to ask a question. He's back after 2 years.
About 15 years ago,
Yes,
with Ramesh Balsekar,
yes,
he was there and you were here.
yes.
Now it's changed.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Ramesh died. I got older.
Yeah,
YouTube was invented,
yeah.
and then it happened.
How did it happen?
It was YouTube. That was how it happened. But no, we don't know how things happen. It's really quite mysterious. I put it on YouTube, and then suddenly everyone was like, could you come here for a talk? She's enlightened. Let's get her for a talk. I was like, I didn't quite say I was enlightened, guys. Or women, sorry. I'm not allowed to say guys anymore. It's sexist. People. Yeah.
You answer the question. What happened with Lisa?
Well, I mean,
When she was questioning like this and then now she's answering.
yeah.
The roles have changed.
Yeah, the roles change. That happens in life. Changes. It goes this way, it goes that way.
Does this entity know how it happened?
No. I don't know how life is working. I can tell lots of stories, and I'm quite a good storyteller, but I don't know how life is working. And I can tell you that I used to suffer a lot, and then the suffering stopped. The character still has issues at times. She wants it her way, and other people don't. That's
So-
predominantly the problem.
So is it possible for this person to ask you a question in the sense like how does the suffering stop?
The suffering stops when there is a dropping of that attachment to the personality structure. That's the end of suffering. So it's not fixing the personality structure, although that is nice. It's this attachment. So right now, when you look at me, Alango, where do you end, or where is the ending between you and me? Where do you end and I begin? Right now, right here, without going into what you've learned, what you know, where is your ending and my beginning?
There is a happening.
Is it happening? And that's who you are. The person's like, oh man, I wanted a feeling. And so the person then keeps going back into thoughts, go back into ideas because it's wanting an experience. But there's something really profound happening here. Like really,
Magic.
yeah, and it's the most intimate sense of being, and it's total freedom, that there is nothing experiencing itself as everything. Like everything is empty now. There is not something looking out of your eyes. It's just that looking and that person are attached together, so it feels like Alango's looking. So when they attach together, Alango has stress. Like Alango is stressed that it's his responsibility life and takes on too much. And then we form as humans really bizarre ideas when we take the responsibility of life. It's unfortunate, but it seems to be the way that when we begin to take responsibility, and I'm just laughing because it's just ironic that it happens that way, that we go negative. We don't go positive, and like some people do, but we don't go positive when we take on the responsibility of life and be like, everything's going to work out. We're like, oh, the tax man is coming in his buggy. We're going to be in trouble. Bad things are going to happen. Like we because our mind is a fixing mind and it likes to find problems and fix it, we make us a problem. If we were more, as humans, as a race, had a tendency to tell ourselves more positive stories, like that everything's going to work out, that everybody's trustworthy, that everything works out, that life is trustworthy, then life wouldn't be as much suffering. Like it would be a more pleasant experience if the person is more childlike and like it's more wondrous, it's more like it more sees things with wonder rather than seeing things with
But
like
how?
disaster. How?
Because the Buddha said, sort of enlightenment is the end of suffering.
Yeah,
And you were in the Buddhist way.
yeah,
And again, I'm coming back to the same thing. You were in this chair asking the same questions.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But then the suffering
Ramesh-
has ended with you.
Ramesh called me
Eventually.
stupid. And I didn't realise, I was so stupid at that point in time, I didn't realise he was calling me stupid. The only time I talked to him, he said I was stupid. And I didn't realise, I was all like so shocked that I was speaking to him, and then afterwards when I watched the video I was like, oh, he's calling me stupid.
So the end of suffering happened with you at Bali.
Yeah. Well,
Sort
it's-
of.
yeah, I don't really like talking about that because it's so long ago and I can barely remember the story, and then I have to tell it again and you're like,
No, I'm not asking about the
Yeah.
Bali story. I'm just asking, like, how is it possible for Ilango
yeah,
to have that end of suffering?
stay still.
Is that in my control, staying still?
It happens.
It happens.
It might appear like you're staying still,
Yeah.
but it's staying still. So that's that
Can
story.
I stay still?
No, you can't stay still. The illusory you is always moving in past and
Correct.
future.
Then what are you saying? Staying
Well,
still?
I'll tell you the story that I love of the Buddha, and I might have changed it. So if any of you are practicing Buddhists, I apologize if I've changed it, but this is my memory of the Buddhist story. So the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree for 40 days and 40 nights, and Maya, the illusion, showed heaven and hell. And Maya didn't show heaven and hell as a film or something. It showed it as the Buddha's personal experience, like was offering the Buddha like virgins, 40 virgins, was offering the Buddha all types of pleasure and hells. So like was sending demons and really scary things. And the Buddha didn't move. Now we think that means that the Buddha stayed in the lotus, is that it, the lotus position? We think that it means him staying still, but actually it doesn't mean that. It's talking about his essence. His actual name was Gautama. So Gautama most probably moved, but we have that story that he didn't move. But the essence didn't move. So Buddha means essence. So Buddha means who you truly are. His name is Gautama, so his personality structure moved because the personality structure always moves. But he sat under the Bodhi tree and did not move. It's talking about that essence. It's that there was a remembering of an essence that was beyond the personality structure. So Maya showed heaven and hell, and maybe Gautama, the Buddha, the character, was afraid, but the Buddha, the essence, did not move. So when I say do not move, that's what I mean. So remember that which does not move.
That is already not moving.
It's already not moving, and it's not even you remembering it. It's something that happens. But it might appear like you're doing it. Like it might appear like you're staying still on the human level.
The Buddha inside me doesn't move.
Never.
Then, like, who are you saying to do what?
Yeah, exactly.
You're saying it to the robot, which cannot do it.
Well, I don't know who I'm saying it to. It gets a bit blurred, these lines,
Correct.
doesn't it?
You're saying it to a personality. Excuse me.
No. We just stay
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah.
Two
You're saying this to a personality which is a robot.
Yeah.
It is a robot which
Yeah.
cannot do anything.
It's dead.
Has no free will.
It's not alive.
But who are you addressing then? You're
Well,
addressing this robot?
I'm
Because
not,
the stillness between us is the same.
actually, what's just happening here is that I'm just speaking.
Correct.
So I'm just sitting. There's this room appearing with all these nice people and you, and then what happens is I sit here and then something is happening around
Correct.
here,
Correct.
and then it sort of goes up here, and then it comes out as
Comes out.
sounds here.
But the personality part in me is asking,
Yeah.
how do we end the suffering for the personality? Is
Stay still. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
After 2 years, Lango was back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Can I say something to that? He was asking.
Yes. When I'm speaking to someone, I'll normally stop people because I can't.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I maybe have ADHD. I can't stay focused on things. I have to like put all my. I might not have ADHD. I'm just saying.
I got it.
I don't know.
I got it. Yeah. So for me, it's being conscious of being conscious. And
That's not well. It is for me.
let me finish.
Okay.
And the Buddha story,
Yeah.
Maya, the story goes, Maya present herself,
Yeah.
da 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 da. From my inner experiences, it's like when I experienced it, it's me inside creating that being projected outside that the shit happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by being conscious of being conscious of what it is that is playing out inside me.
Yeah.
Unconscious to and think it's happening out there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. On the human level. Like, so you mean on the human level, the person being aware of, like, so how are you conscious of that it's all you being projected?
It's a shift in consciousness, of being conscious of being conscious. It's not
Okay.
how you be aware, it's being aware.
But does that consciousness, that shift in consciousness, how does that shift in consciousness think? It's only the
Well, it's like
personality
you're saying,
structure.
It just comes up. It's
Yeah.
not like thinking it, like, oh, I'm gonna be conscious of being conscious.
Yeah.
It's literally being conscious that I'm being conscious.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I went to the ATM machine yesterday. I was afraid of not being able to get in and out fast enough because I had places to go. And I was aware I was projecting all this fear out.
Yeah.
And this guy came in, I live here, I've lived here for 3 years. I've never had this happen. I go to the ATM machine all the time. This young 20-year-old Indian guy comes in and cuts in front of me and everybody else. The person who's finishing their transaction pulls the receipt out, gives it to him, and starts doing his receipt. His process. And I confronted him. Didn't matter much. But anyway, the point is that I realized that it was my fear being projected out that created this guy showing up and doing what he did. I've never had that happen before.
Yeah.
And I just had a shift in consciousness of being really conscious of being conscious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on the human level, law of attraction has a big play in everything.
Well, the human level for me is the 10%. Scientists say we only use 10% of our brain. There's that other 90%. That part becomes conscious. That's what I'm pointing to. Not the human 10% that interprets everything.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, like in Lucy.
Yeah. Yeah, she took off. She became 100%.
Yeah, it's hard in conversations to always know where the other person's going from. Like we can sort of, yeah, I believe totally in law of attraction. That if you, but I don't see it as anybody's personal law of attraction. But if you are thinking something, it will happen. I recently, my mum and Andreas were at my house. I didn't have fleas, and they got obsessed with fleas, and now I'm flea infested. I think it's those two. They think it's me because I don't put the drops on my dog.
Well, but define the law of attraction.
Huh?
You said you believe in law of attraction.
Yeah, that.
What is law of attraction?
Well, I don't know what law of attraction is. I never actually studied it. I just know that that's what we call it in our society, is that type of thinking. So to me, if you are in, if you start thinking about something and keep obsessively thinking about it, that will show up.
Right. So the distinction for me is the law of attraction is that what we're thinking, but it's not the 10%. I have a new car, I have a new car, I have a new car. It's not that 90% starts that.
Yeah.
That the law of attraction actually works. The 90% is what's attracting.
Yeah.
Actually not attracting things, it's what is causing things.
Yeah, the
to
vibration.
that we move into and say, oh,
Yeah.
it came to me, but we
Yeah.
went to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's vibration. Yeah, the thinking is just the effect after the vibration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the observer.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think it's the observer. I think I see those as two different things. Everything is the observer on the
How about
ultimate level.
recorder?
Huh?
How about the word the recorder? The
No,
recorder.
I don't see it. Well, everything is the everything is life. Everything is the experiencer. But I don't think that the experiencer has conscious will in this life. I think conscious will is something that arises with the body. I think the observer is no thing and everything, not a thing and everything.
Well, okay. We're just words here. I mean, I'm using the observer in the sense that it's the 10% that observes things and goes stoves hot.
Yeah, I actually don't know what you're talking about then. But it doesn't matter. I don't think we need to clarify it. Neither of us have a problem.
What matters is I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you.
I saw your picture and I gotta go see this thing. She's out there.
Anybody else have any questions? Yes. Hello.
Yeah, it's about experience. you say that, you said that experience is everything.
Yeah.
It's all the time. But it changes, doesn't it?
What experience? Yeah.
So
But it
I'm
changes.
sitting on the chair,
Yeah.
right, and it's less intense than, say, sitting here. There's an intensity to the experience.
Yeah, but that's your experience. I was talking about, so say, like, you know, like when you wake up in the morning, when you wake up, there is instantly a consciousness of everything. Not a personal consciousness, so not like you're like, oh, I'm conscious of my breathing or anything. There is an awakeness that happens automatically and it's switched on, and you don't say to yourself, I'm going to switch it on, it's switched on. There is a knowing of your bedroom, not a knowing in thought, not just a knowing like this is known when I'm speaking to you. There's a knowing. So there is this consciousness that's always appearing, and that consciousness never changes throughout the day. Your experience changes. So sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you feel more integrated, less integrated. But your awakeness, your awake presence, never changes. So you can go anywhere and it's always that awake presence. You can be in the aeroplane, you can be down here, you can be on top of the hill, you can be in the ashram, and there is that awake presence. And you've done nothing to get that awake presence. It's something that's always been there throughout your life. It was the same awake presence when you were 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20, 30. The same awakeness. Every morning the alarm goes off and there is awakeness, and you can't say, oh, today I'm only going to have 10% awakeness. There's always that awakeness. And then the personality structure can feel more tired, less tired, happy, sad, integrated, like things, dislike things. So your body can have opinions on things, but the awake presence is always there, no matter what, and it never changes. It's there. You can't run away from it. No matter how much you try, you can't.
But I can vary it, can't I?
You can vary the personal experience.
Yeah.
The person was speaking, that gentleman, we need a mic, bro. You're audible.
Oh, it's okay. We'll deal with it
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah. I'm nice and loud, am I?
Yeah, you're audible, but when the others speak, it's like muffled.
But maybe if he sits more like speaking out to
There's a
Yeah,
mic.
yeah.
Maybe I
available.
can stand this way more.
Then we're like, hello.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking, or sort of looking for some clarification, is that I've often strived for experience.
Yeah.
For,
I think everybody has.
yeah. But also, a long time ago, I heard what I thought the words of the wise. You can have too much experience.
Yeah.
And I try, I don't know if I didn't make a conscious effort maybe, but try to tone it down to some degree.
Yeah.
And live more.
Yeah.
I don't like the ordinary. I'm not too happy with the ordinary life, but to not be too extreme.
Yeah.
And what's, as a consequence of what I regard now in the memory, I've made so many stories of the experiences that they're haunting me. You know, maybe from something that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm now almost plagued by this drive to speak a story instead of living the experience.
Yeah.
Now I'm using the past experience to
Yeah.
drag me back into that past experience.
What do you think your motivation is when you're telling the story? You want attention or confirmation or?
I want to be the best, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be the right one.
Well, that's great that you can see that, because as a human race, we tend to have that. Like, we like to compete. Like, a lot of time people are in denial of that. They're like, no, I don't want to be the best. I want to be like the third best. And so the fact that you can say, I want to be the best is really great. And so that's a feeling that arises in our body, and that's what makes us amazing as humans, is that we compete. So we compete, and that competition pushes us to be better at what we do. And that's really beautiful quality. But when we personalize it and we make it ours, then it can become an obsession, and our mind gets obsessed with it. And what we do is we're looking for home in trying to be the best. We're looking for that moment, like when I'm the best, or when I do something, I'll be able to relax. Like it will be a moment where I cross the winning line, like I make it. And so it's realizing what your mind is doing, that your mind has an urge to want to be the best, and it believes that you're going to find relaxation, you're going to find what you look for in that. So when you're in conversation and dialogue, when you're with your family members, and that's coming up, just see that for what it is on the human level. Your freedom is that which is experiencing the human, but the human, because it feels contracted and limited, because it feels like it is that personality structure, it's looking for who you truly are in that action. So it's looking for relaxation, for home, in trying to be the best, in telling these stories, in a particular interaction with people. And it's just seeing that, noticing it. So that habit comes up, that dynamic comes up, that you want something from that experience, and you're not going to get it. You're never going to get anything from experience. You'll get high pleasures, but then it will turn into something else. And what you do is you increase your thinking, so your mind thinks more, and then it does it again and again and again. And over the years, your mind gets more obsessive with particular stories, particular ways of thinking about things. With, like something happens, and then a particular story is like boop, 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 boop.
Lots of triggers.
But what is it that's still in all that experience? So in that, there is this person that's wanting something, but what is always there and still and never moved? And that's where the freedom is. That's where the light gets in. That's what you're really looking for.
Good. Well, thanks for that.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you. Yes.
Just want to come up and be blasted for a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with all the Indian food. I'm joking.
So I'm a bit hung up about the self,
Yeah, a lot of people are. It's funny. We all get a bit obsessed with ourselves.
because it sounds like that's the finish line, right?
Yeah.
Realize
Oh, the
yourself.
big self. The big self. Yeah.
That's it. And then you can relax it. And I had an experience 3 years ago. Being with somebody, he's the only person I met that when I was speaking to him, there was nobody there. So it was like speaking into an empty box.
Yeah.
And that got me to a place where somehow I sensed the limit of my own bubble universe. And I realized it's actually the person on the spiritual quest. It's just another role that we play, right? It's,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not the businessman anymore, now I'm
Yeah.
a spiritual seeker. So I'm obviously better.
Yeah.
And the other big thing in spirituality is the observer. Everybody know, like the observer is the ultimate, but the observer is also observed. We are aware there is an observer. At least I am. I don't know. But who is aware of the observer? That's it.
The mind.
The mind cannot go behind that.
The mind is the one aware of the observer. The mind splits itself off. It's actually a good process that happens. Like the more that you're into this subject, I've been to this subject a long time, like 20 years now, that you see the process happening, the apparent process happening in people. So what happens is that you have these awakenings where you see that there is something watching your person, like there's something watching you, like so you have that experience. You're like, holy crap, there is something watching me, and it's the person that's quite taken aback by that, because it can only be the person, and then over time it's kind of like it's known, but it's sort of the mind splitting off and looking back. And then at some point, it's known and not known, and that's when the person or the mind stops getting involved, where it's like it breaks free. So it stops being that the mind splits off and looks round at itself and sees that it's consciousness. And it's like this shift happens energetically from the person holding on to anything to just experiencing everywhere. And that's the main focus. Like, that's what's always there. Like, what's always here now is experiencing. So, and your experiencing doesn't happen to you inside that body. Your experiencing is here, my voice, outside. And that's the actual experience now. The experiencing is everything.
I understand, but this everything, my everything is different than your everything. Or this body's everything is different than that body's everything.
Well.
Right? I mean, I'm going to go back to my room, we'll go back to... So your universe looks different, has different experiences than this universe.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
So that's still a personal bubble.
I'm just going to change my words now in this game. So I'm going to change it to consciousness.
Okay.
So everything means consciousness. Because everything can mean, it's funny, different languages, like in different ways of saying things. So consciousness, our consciousness are the same. It's the same consciousness working in both. So now this is consciousness, this is consciousness, this is consciousness, this, everything. And that's what is this still, full, empty consciousness that's experiencing. And that's a mystery, so that's known and not known. Like, it's not like you can know consciousness, it just is that way. It's conscious, this is conscious. This is, and that's known and not known. So that's when I say it's known and not known. When the mind has got it, it's just known. The mind knows it as a thought. The mind knows it as a division of itself. It sort of looks back and it goes, yes, there is consciousness. I remember. I forgot, I got lost in life, and now I remember there is consciousness. Whereas when the shift happens, it's just there is consciousness everywhere. It's the way it is. There is consciousness. Who you are is not this person telling stories. Who you are is consciousness, which is everything here now. Everything. But there is that process where the person sees it, where the person looks back to it, where the person keeps trying to get it, remember it, stay in consciousness, and then that all begins to disappear, and then all there is consciousness. And then the person comes and goes in it.
In my case, I feel there's still, the person can only do so much, and then grace has to come, and something else comes, and the shift happens.
Yeah.
The seeker cannot do it, right?
Yeah.
He can only do what he can do.
You know, the magic, everything you've ever done was also grace.
Oh, yeah.
Everything now. So my speaking, your speaking is that grace, is that mystery. Like, we think we speak or we think, but how? How do we think? How do we speak? How do we sit here? It's so weird. How do we walk? I remember when I was like 5 years old, we used to walk down this alley and there was an echo, and I would always be like, Mum, look, the legs are walking. I would be so like, wow, the legs walk. And my mum would be like, yes, the legs walk. Amazing. We don't know how, but we're like, oh, well, I'm doing it. I'm thinking.
I had that experience when you know something, you basically kill it. The mystery dies. You say that's a tree, that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
It's just a concept now, and you don't see the tree anymore.
Yeah, it's only
So I had that experience.
Yeah, it's only helpful for our survival. So thinking is survival. It's like the way, like, so the wolf has the pack that kills the animal. So the strength of the wolf is the pack. Sorry, this is from Jungle Book. Strength of the wolf is the pack. I forgot the rest of the story. And the human strength is the imagination. Like, that's like our imagination, the fact that we can name it a tree, like the fact that we can name it a floor, we can then say, clean the floor, paint the floor, climb the tree, put the food up in the tree to stop the other animals getting it. It's like amazing that we can do those type of things, but we get lost in it. So before we started to speak as humans, we just were, and we were living as groups, and there was just a live presence. There was this awakeness, and then and there was most probably some form of communicating through grunts or pointing. And then we begin to speak, and then slowly it becomes, I'm going to get fish. And then there's a belief that they really are that I going to get fish, and over time it becomes more. And that's so untrue. There is something that's so mysterious behind all of that. But it's so addictive, this dream. Me, 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 me. Of me and where I go and what I've done. And when you really look at it and break it down, most of you is about survival. We just don't like to admit that because we have these funny games in our society. It's like we can't admit that we're doing it for this, we're doing it for love, we're doing it for niceness, we're doing it for this. Like most of our games are about thinking about how to improve survival. Even enlightenment for the person is about improving your survival.
Well, and maybe it's like, now that I'm enlightened, I live forever, right? That's the story that once you realize the self is eternal, untouchable, all that stuff, so that's it.
Yeah.
That's the ego final destination.
And that'd be the same way that you go out and hunt an animal. You're like, got it, that's it. You arrived. We got it. And you come back and everyone celebrates killing the boar or the deer.
It's good because now I feel, there's nothing I can do for enlightenment. It's just
Well,
the body does what it has to do. And
that can be very depressive, that thought. It's not that there's nothing that
no, it's kind of relaxing.
Oh, yeah,
It's
nice.
like,
For some people, just for those that have got a tendency towards depression, the depression likes to own there's nothing I can do. Like I have to sit in bed all day. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, not that kind of person. Yeah. That can also be great. I loved that too. And it's not really that there's nothing you can do. It's that you is a happening. You is a happening. You didn't ever have the choice to do something or not do something. It's that you never owned anything. It's a happening. What was your name?
Bogdan.
Pardon?
Bogdan.
Nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I was born in Romania. I live in Canada now.
I always like to try and pin the accents, but I didn't pin Romanian then.
Lisa,
Yes. Oh, then go. No.
you got
Yeah.
some points?
No.
No?
We did it. We did the Lango already. Alango is very good with the no. Some people terrible with the no. Alango is very good. I always get a smile if I say no to Alango. anyone has any more questions, you're very welcome. I just shut my eyes while we wait.
I have one question.
Yes.
So it is in nonsense, so I don't I want to know about this board, what on the door.
Oh, what it says on the door?
Yeah, means not allowed after start talks.
Yeah.
Because disturbance will be remain same. People go for tea, people get new.
Yeah.
It's nothing very different. People five people go pee and open in and out. People get offenses, you know. If you throw them out, they get very angry. And
Yeah.
They will never come to you ever, actually.
Oh well.
Even me, you know, if I come 10 minutes later, say no, you cannot come.
Yeah, I know.
I will
Do you know?
never see you anymore.
Yeah, I think it might be more of a European thing.
Yeah, maybe. But because we Indian, you know,
Yeah.
we quickly feel offenses, or quickly feel love.
Yeah.
Small good word, or feel, oh my God, she's so good.
Yeah.
A little bad word, and feel, my God, she's a nonsense. We should not see her face anymore. So I think so it would be good because people will get disturbed anyhow. They go for tea and
Yeah. Yeah.
not to offense.
Yeah. It's a difficult one, rules. It's always difficult.
Yeah.
I remember I went to see Muji one time when he used to come to Tiruvannamalai. This was when he was quite small. And you had to go there and you had to stand in the line. There were like 3 lines, I think. And then they selected which line went up to get the front seats and then the middle seats and the back seats. And every day it was like random as to who got what. There wasn't that many people there. It was just on top of... yeah, yeah. And then all the a lot of the women, Muji always seemed to have women worker. I have men workers. No, it's a joke. I have Amelia. Just being silly. But there were these women, and they would always be like, if you dared speak, because I can't hold my attention for very long, they would be like, silent! And you'd have this like sign in front of you. And I think that put a lot of people off. But now look at him. People also love rules. But it's just the way it is. I find that I'm better if I have less distractions. I can't help but look at someone and be like, what country do they come from? What's their accent? But yeah. And I also got very told off yesterday when I entered the ashram. I took my shoes into the ashram because I was going to go back out their back entrance. And yeah, I carried it inside the ashram, the shoes. This is very bad.
No, some people do.
You got to put them in the bag, in the backpack, that's what
You put them in the backpack, yeah. This is very bad. I got told off very loudly. It's such a silent place. It's like, oh, hello. I also got told off in my French class the other day. It was very amusing about telling off. Telling off is a very good experience. I was texting under the table. I never imagined that he would say something. And he's like, Lisa, phone on the table. I was so surprised. And then he went into a speech about how we've all got to work as a group and phones on the table. And that was funny.
You didn't say it to me in French?
No, he said that in English. That came in English.
closer.
Yes.
Hello. I'll sit here and I'm loud enough so
Okay.
everybody can hear me. If you're still, as you said, just experiencing, just being conscious, will it happen?
It's always going to happen because it's what you are. So it's always at some point
What is stopping it?
seeking. I mean, fall in love with your seeking. Like, fall in love with what you're seeking for. Like, admit it. Like, we're often ashamed of what we're seeking for. It's like there was a lady I was speaking to recently who was very poor, and she was so ashamed to just seek for money. Like, that was a really bad thing. But, I mean, it's beautiful, money. I mean, not always the way that people's attitude towards it, but money is a trading system. It's like, instead of me giving you a bag of rice for your fruit, I can give you money and you can then spend it on whatever you want. It's just a trading system. And so, to me, she suffers so much and trying not to seek, feeling unworthy because of money and all these issues around money. And to me, it's all she has to do is fall in love with money. And when she falls in love with it, it will disappear. Like the money will come and that seeking will disappear. And it will just become the natural flow of the body to go for money. But a lot of the time we're denying it and we think we're unworthy of it, of whatever we're seeking for. So if you're seeking for, so say with a partner, you want a partner or a husband or children, like there's always these other stories on top that are in denial of what it is you want. You think you can't have it, or it won't happen for you, or they'll leave you, or they won't be good enough, or they snore, or they they do all these things that that will mean that it doesn't work between you two. And all you need to do is just love that urge, like that's what you want. And then in a way that turns into presence. I know that sounds weird, but it's just basically losing that belief that love comes in the future, for a future event. It's like really loving whatever's here now, that what you seek for comes in a future event. So let me give an example. I think the money is the best one to give an example of. So to say if there's something in you that wants money and wants to enjoy your job, and you're not really conscious of it, and you've been unconscious of it, and your parents have trained you by fear. So your parents have trained you that you have to do this or you have to do that, and if you don't, then you're going to be kicked out on the street, you're going to be homeless, and everything's going to be wrong, and it's going to be dark, and it's going to be bad. So it's every time you think about getting money or a particular job, there's always fear involved. You always fear it, and it's always uncomfortable, and there's always this agitation around everything, like you're seeking around it. Like you either want to avoid it and never work again, or you want to work all the hours of the day to get the money and you keep checking the bank account. So there's either these two reactions to it. And I think that all comes from a seeking energy, from a separate energy. I think your natural flow, when there is no you that's making it happen, is your natural flow will provide you with enough. Like your natural flow will want to express your talents, what you're good at, what you can offer society, and will want to trade with society. And it's like you just have to fall in love with what you have. And when you're in that natural flow, you're not trying to get somewhere else. You're not trying to get to the future or get away from the past. So it's just loving. So say now, if everybody thinks about money, so if you think about what you feel of money, so say you think that money's dirty, of course money's always going to stay away from you. If you think money's a bad thing, of course you're always going to have problems with money. There's always going to be, even if If you think money's a bad thing, even if you become super rich, that's going to be a painful experience. It's always going to be painful when you're trading with money, and that's something you're doing all the time. And then you believe it's your money, and then you seek to try to avoid those situations. And all you need to do is love it. Like, it's so beautiful. Every time you give somebody money, you're encouraging their survival. Like, every time you buy for something, you're giving somebody else money, which encourages their survival. It's like giving grains of rice. It's like feeding somebody. It's such a beautiful exchange. It's so beautiful. When you fear it, when you think it's bad, then the seeking gets involved. When you love something, seeking disappears, because all you ever wanted was love. All anyone ever wanted was love. And you're allowed to love. You're allowed to love everything. There's nothing that you have to avoid. Like, say taxes. Say you think the taxes are really like the big bad. Taxes is a really beautiful idea. We have all these relationships to it. Say your parents are authority figures. You have all these relationships where you think authority figures are bad because they hurt me when I was younger, and then you feel that pain when you're in front of an authority figure, and you feel like this tightness and this discomfort, and then you seek to get away from that discomfort. You just need to love them. But it just comes with awareness. Like, say you're in front of an authority figure, and rather than trying to create an argument or do your natural thing of running away or going close or trying to please, just acknowledge it and see it for what it is and love. Authority figures have always played an important part in our society, and thank God there's people that put some boundaries in.
We're all here for the mountain, and we're here stuck. No going back, no going forward.
That's what you think is happening, and that's what your story tells you. And from my experience, that will be the same way you felt in the rest of your life. So when you were in a marriage, you'll have felt stuck. With your parents, you'll have felt stuck. It's a habit. So then you come here and you equally feel stuck, and you believe it's true. So you don't actually confront the energy. You think that Lisa needs to say something about something in order to make it better, but it's actually just an illusion that's appearing. You are not stuck. You're totally free now. There's nothing that's ever been stuck. It's an imagination that comes with a feeling of like, and then the body tightens up. So one thing you could do, an exercise you could play with yourself on, is loving being stuck. Like putting nice images with it. Like enjoying it, like imagining funny images of being stuck. Like being stuck in the mud. I remember me and my brother when we were like 5 or 6 or 7 years old. And my mum and dad always had a caravan. Like we went on holiday. Do you have that in India? No. In Europe it can be quite popular. You go to a different country and you have a little moving house, and then you set up the house. And they always used to go to this place in some place called Bognor Regis in England. And it really did seem to have very boggy land. I don't know if that's why it got its name for that, or it's just a coincidence. But me and my brother always used to go and get stuck in the bog. And the game was obviously to get stuck in the bog and then like try to get out of the bog. But we never really admitted that to each other. We were all like, no, the bog's terrible, we don't want to go in there. And then we'd get stuck and we'd have great joy trying to get out of the bog, like our wellies.
What's a bog?
Oh, bog is like mushy land. Like, you know, your feet sink in it. And we'd get stuck, and then like.
The camera's not working. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's okay. And then you know, our Wellingtons our boots would get stuck in, and then we'd have to pull them out, and then we'd get planks of wood, and we'd have to like lay on the wood and crawl along. And like, why did we ever go to the bog? Because we wanted to get stuck. We wanted that joy. Like, there was many other places we could have played, but we always went to the bog. We always did it every day or every other day. And then our mum would be like, look at the pair of you. Always. The same with me and my friend. There was this like little river behind us. We always managed to fall in the river. Like there was always something with the river and saving and trying to get out. And really, we were loving it the whole time. It's the same with this game. It's just we forget that.
We've grown up.
Yeah, we've grown up, and now we thought we took it seriously. And we got all serious about it. And we're like, oh, this is really, I'm really stuck. This time I'm really stuck. How can I get out of it? It's an illusion. It's easy for me to say though because it makes it feel so real, because it feels like feelings in the body. It like pulses through and you really feel like you're stuck and uncomfortable and you want to get out of it. But it's just letting it be there, letting it be there. And you can love it. You can enjoy this great game of like going to teachers. I mean, what else would you do? You'd be sitting there, you know, watching YouTube. Like, like you can go to teachers, you can enjoy it, you can enjoy asking the questions, you can enjoy walking down the stairs. One of the things I loved about going to see Ramesh was the elevator. The elevator had a song in it. I can't even, and the smell, that cleaning product they use in India, I love that. Like I go in there, and the guy would come, like you'd have your backpack on, and then he would say he has to, you know, put you in the elevator. You couldn't go in there yourself, so then you'd like stand in, and then he would lock you in the elevator. And then you'd go up, and I always loved going to the toilet at Ramesh's as well. Like the sounds and getting a glass of water. There's nothing not to love. It's all in the detail. God is in the detail. I love the crows outside his window. He used to have lots of crows. He was on the top floor, and the wind and the crows. The smells. I love getting the taxi there. You are never stuck, because who would be stuck? Who? It's all in the mind. It just feels real. And this is what the Buddha did under the Bodhi tree. Maya presented heaven and hell, and it presented it through feelings, through emotions, through sensations, through ideas. Hey.
If everything seems to be happening on its own,
Yeah.
dynamic, which means we do not have any free will.
No. Well, it's not that we do or don't, it's just that it's a concept, free will.
That also a concept?
Yeah.
Free will.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't think about it, do you have free will or not?
Yeah.
So, but most humans in society are absolutely. Well, I don't know about Indian society, but in Europe, most people are convinced they have free will. So it's not so much.
For her, what you answered, like she thinks she getting stuck somewhere, but then she has to think. She has free will or not on that. Maybe she thinks she has to do something so that she's not getting stuck, so that she has a control over the situation or not.
It's, you know, it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
It's like if I say raise your hand, like I know. It's nice. It's nice the idea that You can just go the hard line non-duality, which I love, and just be like, no free will, no, no. I love that. But but then somebody's like, where's the toilet? No free will, you can't go. Yeah, so it's sort of like a fine line.
We seem to be having free will, at the same time not. So
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I dance between the two different ways. Yeah, the two different ways of expressing, and it's fine with me. Maybe it's not fine with everyone else. Like, oh God, I don't know if I'm doing it or not doing it. Yeah.
or maybe the more we identify with the body, we think we can do something. If we don't, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it all works out in the end. We don't need to worry too much. I just sit here and basically I just plonk the body down, and then the body starts talking, and then sometimes it says do this, do that, and then sometimes it's like there is nobody, and it will work its way out. Roger Castillo likes to say, which I think is very nice, everything that I say is a description of what could happen rather than a prescription of what does happen, of what someone does do. So it's like I'm saying this stuff and it might happen, and there might be a change, there might be nothing, it's something that happens. Yes.
You think it would be more helpful if you just start telling people there is no enlightenment?
No?
You think it would help if the teachers start telling us there is no enlightenment?
I think some teachers
Okay.
do. I think enlightenment. I think Carl Rentz is he's playing at Studio Sunshine. I don't know what it's called, Sunshine. So Studio Guest House. We're at Studio Ramana Towers. He is playing there. I think if you want to go and hear there is no enlightenment, you can go.
It's refreshing.
To hear there is no enlightenment.
Yeah, you let things relax.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're enlightened.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter the way anybody thinks about anything. Like it doesn't matter because we're still here no matter what. So even if you think there is a doer or there isn't a doer, there's enlightenment or not enlightenment, it's like, well, we're still here. Here we are. Again, oh, we're here. And we're here. Oh, we're here. And then we're like, there is this, there is that. We're going to get enlightened. We're going to go around there. Oh, we're still here. Here we are. Oh, again. So it's like the thoughts come up. They play, and then you worry about whether you should be doing this or not doing this, or what's the best path for you. But who? Here we are. And the person likes to think this or think that, and it wants to feel better. And really, we're here. This is it. And that's the answer. This is it. Where are we going to get to, and who's going to get it? That person that thinks it's going to get it is going to get exhausted because it's going to be carrying all these backgrounds of you. But there is no you. We're right here.
Still got to do the laundry.
Yeah, and then we go the other way. And I'm back. That was funny. We're back the other way. So what can we do? Stay still. Stay still. Who does that? Here we are. Yes. Yes, Romania. You live somewhere else.
At the Ashanti was talking about two different aspects of enlightenment.
Yeah.
So he called it the masculine approach and the feminine approach.
Yeah.
And in my case, at least, it's true that masculine approach is to run away from the world, to say no to everything, run in a cave, get blissed out and never come out again. So I definitely see this for me. And the feminine approach is to love the whole world and love everything. And he said neither one is complete, they both have to come together. I guess there's this movement of like rejecting the world and everything, realizing that self, eternal, whatever you call it, and then returning into the world to see that that is everything and you don't need to run in a cave and you, like Ramana, come back from the cave and become
Yeah, but
a
he did.
regular human being.
But he did 20 years in the cave. You've still got to do your time. 20 years. Off.
That was his karma. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just love being stuck here, like, okay, I'm searching and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So we're going to come to an end in a moment. Any last questions? Any more for any more?
I just want to share something.
Oh, yeah.
That, how I realized this instance that is experiencing, that once I noticed, when I'm totally drunk, when I'm totally stoned, as long as I'm not unconscious, this instance that registering me being stoned, being drunk, is totally the same. It's not drunk, it's not stoned.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I shall be here every morning from 11 till 1. You're very welcome, but you have to come on time. We do it European style here. Maybe I open as I'm in India, the Indian style. Thank you very much. I send you lots of love and maybe see you again.
No one